Yo, what's good everyone? Thank you for tuning in to today's video. If you're new around here, my name is Aiden, and in today's review we have one of the most highly coveted, highly anticipated and highly sought after releases of 2023 so far. So in today's review we will be taking a look at the recently released Nike Air Max 1 86 Big Bubbles. Now I know I'm a little bit late to the party, I had a whole story for it, I'll get into it later on in the video as to why this video is so late, but I don't want to keep you guys in suspense on the intro for any longer, so just sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and get straight into this video. So first things first, just like we always do, before we get into the shoes, let's just kick this off with the packaging. And for this one, we do actually have absolutely incredible packaging, which is always a really nice extra. Now the box itself definitely has that reimagined type of feel to it, so it is done of a mostly all black colour, but we do also have these like red marks where I think it's either distressing or it's aging, but either which way, a really nice look for the shoe box itself. Now across the front of the lid we then have that translucent Nike swoosh, so you can actually see into the box itself, which again in my opinion was a really nice touch. And then another one of my favourite details about the box is we do actually see the air unit, so the big bubble on there. Now you can see it on that side as well as on the opposing side, again a really nice touch in my opinion. And then throughout the rest of the box we do have just your pretty standard Nike branding, so we have it there, and pretty much on this side of the box as well. Now if we do just take a quick look at the label, which reads, we have the Nike Air Max 1 86 OG in the white university red colourway in a UK size 9, as it is a personal pair. So that's the size label for anyone who wants to check that out. So if you are legit checking, pause the video there, that's how it should look. And then if we do open up the box itself, on the inside we do have your tissue paper. Now the last time I actually remember seeing this personally was with the Air Max BW. We also did get it with the infrared 90s as well, so definitely seems like they only really use this kind of paper for the OG model, so there you go. And then underneath that we have what we all came for, so let's go ahead and get straight into the shoes. So without any further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for, in hand we have the Nike Air Max 1 86 Big Bubble OG in the anniversary red colourway. Now before I do go any further with this video, I do have to give a huge shout out to Greg, who is actually the reason we're able to do this review for you guys. Now, with most major releases, myself personally, I always tend to strike out. I saw it with the Weissmans and I saw it again with these. I tried absolutely everything I possibly could. I entered every single raffle. I tried on sneakers. That's a lie. I actually overslept on sneakers, but don't judge me for it. I was like 4 minutes late and unfortunately it just kind of is what it is. But fortunately enough for me, Greg was actually able to double up and he was actually able to secure me a pair and actually hook me up for retail, which I say this every time anybody goes out of their way to help me out. I always massively appreciate it, and especially when it's a shoe like this, something I've been highly anticipating for a very, very long time. I honestly just wanted to say how thankful I am that you actually came through for these, so Greg, you're an absolute legend. Now, if you are tuning into this video today to decide if this is something you want for your collection as well, if you haven't got them already, in this review, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know, from materials through to sizing, so by the end of this video, you can decide for yourself whether this is something you want for your personal collection as well. So just diving straight into this one, starting out with the upper to begin with, and for this one, we do actually see the re-emergence of that classic Air Max 1 anniversary red colourway, just in a way we haven't actually seen since 1986, initially designed by the legend himself, Tinker Hatfield, who did actually take inspiration for this incredible design from the Centre Pompidou building over in Paris, if I've said that correctly. Now, as the name does suggest, this shoe did actually see an official rollout back in 1986, but after a limited time on shelves, unfortunately, the shoe had to be pulled due to some sustainability issues, a lot of which actually had to do with the actual air unit. Now, of course, this is a significantly larger air unit, as again the name does suggest, and after 12 months of rejigging in 1987, we did actually see the re-release and the reissue of the Nike Air Max 1, as we all know and love it to this day. Now, this is the very first time we are actually seeing the reissue of the Big Bubbles since its official release back in 86, and Nike decided to go deep into the archive for this Air Max Day to give us this absolute classic, which is effectively the godfather of all Air Max 1s. Now, whether you love it or hate it, this shoe is definitely arguably as important to sneaker culture as any other sneaker that's ever released, because without this, we would have never had the Air Max 1. So effectively, this is definitely an iconic silhouette and shoe that I'm sure a lot of OG collectors are very happy to have in their collections. Now, unfortunately, I can't do a comparison to that 2017 anniversary red. I would absolutely love to have those as well, but unfortunately, I can't do any comparisons. All I'm going to really do throughout this review is just tell you all the little differences from this to a standard Air Max 1, and you can make your own assumptions for yourself. With that said, if we kick this off from the front of the shoe and we'll gradually work our way back. So at the base of the shoe, we do have your pretty standard all white mesh material making up the toe box itself, which is then nicely been accented with this softer to touch, felt like material around the toe box on the mudguard. Now, as far as the materials are concerned, I will be honest, there's honestly not a lot to write home about. The overall quality is absolutely fine, it's probably what you would expect it to be. The thing that I really wanted to focus on the most was actually the overall shape of the toe box itself. It's so vastly different to any other Air Max 1 I've ever owned previously, any of the Air Max 1s you see behind me, and it definitely gives the shoe a slightly different feel and just a slightly different look overall than what you might expect with just your ordinary Air Max 1 release. I would definitely say it looks a lot better in person than it does on the pictures, so actually seeing them up close, it's definitely not as bad as I initially did think it would be, but overall the shape is definitely one of the biggest differences about this one. Now that also reflects towards the back end of the shoe, as the collar of the shoe itself is also slightly higher as well, so again, that is definitely something you should bear in mind. But as we do work our way throughout the rest of the upper and actually jump into some more of the details, on the U-throat as well as in the quarter midfoot panel, we do have this very nice, softer to touch grey suede, and then in the middle of the midfoot itself, we do have, again, just like what we saw with the mudguard, that very nice, softer to touch, felt like material making up the Nike swoosh. As we then work our way onto the ankle collar, we'll start off with the top eye stays to begin with, and the eye stays themselves have been constructed from this red TPU material. Now wrapping around the eye stays, just like what we saw with the midfoot, we do have more of that soft grey suede once again. And as we reach the ankle collar, we do have a really nice sheen to this mesh material, which actually adds a really nice look to the shoe itself. And from there, as we do actually work our way onto the heel, again, the makeup is pretty much the same. So we do have that red felt material around the bottom. In the middle, we have more of that grey soft suede. And then in the middle of the heel itself, we do have that red embroidered Nike Air branding, looking absolutely beautiful as always. Now, when it does come to the lace options for this one, we do only actually get one set of laces. And I will be honest, I'm not a massive fan of the laces that actually come with the shoe. Now, the laces are actually a little bit thinner than what you would normally expect with most Air Max 1s. So for me personally, I do actually think I will be swapping them out. But I think overall, if you're happy with how they look, I don't really think you'll have much of an issue. And I do think this all white colour is realistically the only way that I could go. I do imagine some people might be doing lace swaps, but for me personally, white on this shoe is definitely my personal preference. And then just beneath the lace themselves, we do have more of that white mesh material making up the base of the tongue itself. And then as we do work our way up to the top of the tongue itself, we do have that white tongue tag, and it does also feature that Nike Air Max branding. Again, the tongue is also a little bit different to your standard Air Max 1. It's really hard to describe why it's different. It just feels a little bit shorter. It actually feels a little bit more well-rounded as well. And overall, for me personally, I've got absolutely no complaints with it. And then on the back of the tongue, we do also have a really nice pop of red on the inside of the tongue as well. Now, when it does come to the sock liner, we just have your pretty standard all-white cotton sock liner, which is pretty much to be expected for this one. One of the really nice details, which is definitely a throwback to its roots, is the fact that we do actually see the sizing on the inside collar as well. So with mine, you'll see that we have a US sizing of 10 because it's a UK size 9. And then as we do continue to work our way even further onto the inside of the shoe, we do have a really nice pop of colour on the insole with this all red colour. And then also featured on the insole, we do see that Nike Air branding once again. And then just to close that in terms of the details, as we do work our way down to the midsole, this for me is probably the biggest difference to your standard Air Max 1. Now that goes to the overall look, but also to the overall feel of the midsole itself, as the midsole definitely has a very different feel to any of my other Air Max 1s. I will be honest, I'm not entirely sure if it is a polyurethane material like we get with all other Air Max 1s. So if you guys can shed some light on that, do make sure to let us know in the comment section down below. And then the main thing about the shoe, the thing that makes the shoe stand out, the big bubble. I honestly thought I wouldn't like it, but seeing it in person, it is definitely something I absolutely love about this shoe. I think it looks incredible. It definitely makes the shoe a lot more comfortable as well. So that's, again, is a massive plus for this one. And I do think overall, again, like I said for other areas of the shoe as well, it definitely looks a lot better in person as far as I'm concerned. And then as we do actually work our way onto the outsole of the shoe, we do almost have a classic Air Max 1 style of outsole with that waffle design. However, I have actually heard people saying it's slightly more thinned out than a regular Air Max 1. I'm not going to touch on that. I'm not 100% certain as to one way or the other. But I would say that overall, the outsole design from the black to the white to the red, overall has been done very well in my personal opinion. And then when it does come to the overall sizing for these, I just went with my natural true to size fit, which for me was a UK size 9. Unfortunately enough for me, these do fit me true to size. Now, I have spoken to quite a few people that did actually say that they did actually need to go a half size down, as these do run a little bit big. Because I have wide feet, I didn't have any issues with that personally, but if you do have a more narrower foot, it might be worthwhile going a half size down. Unfortunately, there isn't going to be much of an opportunity to try these before you buy them, so if you do have a narrower foot, I would say maybe half size down would be the best bet for you. But if you do have a wide foot like me, I do feel like going true to size, you should be absolutely fine, because I personally had absolutely no issues with it. And then other than that, we've covered everything that you need to know. So if we now just go ahead and just wrap up this video. So just to wrap up this video, so you guys can get out of here, in terms of my overall opinion on the shoe itself, to give these a rating, I'm going to say they are a very solid 8 out of 10. I definitely like this shoe a lot more than I was actually expecting to. I feel like that has a lot to do with the colourway. I'm very partial to the anniversary red, so in a way, you could say I'm a little bit biased. But overall, I've got absolutely no complaints with this one. Especially with the QC. The QC was absolutely fine on my pair. The overall feel on feet was very nice. They're very comfortable. And overall, I'm very happy and glad to add these into the personal collection. I was definitely very skeptical, but I do feel like seeing them in hand, getting them in hand, definitely changed my overall opinion on it. As for future releases, because I know they're going to flood the market with a bunch of 86 models, and 86 colorways I should say, I personally don't feel like I'm going to need many more. If they do release the Obsidians or the Royal Blues, of course I'm going to go for those. But outside of this one in particular, I really don't feel like I want to start collecting them overall. I would definitely say I do prefer a regular Air Max 1 to this one. And if we did get a reissue of the 2017 pair instead of these, I probably would have been a lot happier than with this shoe overall, to be honest, but I do still feel like this is a very nice shoe and I'm very glad to add it into the personal collection. I would love to get your guys' opinion on it as well, so do let me know what you think of my rating, what do you think of this shoe, and any other thoughts, do make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you have stuck around to this point in the video, as always, I do just want to say a massive thank you. If you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video. And I hope to see you all again in the next one. Peace.